The Y&R spoilers recap for Friday, April 15, 2022, brings some light-hearted time for Mariah Copeland and Tessa Porter before getting serious. Plus, Adam Newman and Ashlyn Locke hit an impasse for a bit. Victoria Newman-Locke insists she can do it herself, Billy Abbott talks to himself, and Sally Spector pounces on Lily Winters. Y&R spoilers recap highlights Nick, Joshua Morrow, put on his brother boots, and he had a difficult talk with Victoria, Amelia Heinle. He managed to frustrate his sister by seeming to take Adam's, Mark Grossman, side in the battle of the plans. Victoria let Nick know that she didn't need his help in dealing with her Loch Ness Monster problem with Ashlyn, Robert Newman. Nick agreed that Victoria was strong enough to do it on her own, but he reiterated that she didn't have to. Then, of course, Ashlyn walked into the office at Newman-Locke, and said all the right things, again. He let Nick know that his soon-to-be not wife didn't need either of her brother's interference. Victoria asked Nick to give them some privacy, and Nick asked Ashlyn if he had an ounce of decency. Ashlyn let Victoria's brother know that he wouldn't have to deal with him much longer. Once alone, Ashlyn told Victoria the terms of Adam's deal. His sticking point? Having to annul their wedding, effectively declaring they never loved each other. Ashlyn asked Victoria if she'd be willing to make a fresh start with him, and she said, of course. However, it seemed like she had her fingers crossed. Apparently, Ashlyn didn't notice, so he accepted Adam's deal. Young and the Restless, absolute power before that, Adam and Ashlyn nearly worked out a deal. It seemed, though, that the insistence that he and Victoria have an annulment was Ashlyn's sticking point. They played the game of chicken, and Ashlyn went to talk to Victoria before he agreed to the $500 million buyout. Adam went back to the office and worried about the whole thing to Sally, and she marveled that Victoria's lying liar of a husband might actually truly feel some love. Curious. Y&R spoilers recap, besties, or not before her talk with Adam, Sally, Courtney Hope, stretched the limits of Lily's, Crystal Khalil, propensity to hand out plenty of second chances. While Sally felt they'd eventually be besties, or at least friends. Of course, Lily had her doubts about that. Back at home, Billy, Jason Thompson, spoke to himself. He continued on, and on, and on, and on. He realized during his incessant talking that everybody would know who he was talking about, which might not work so well. It kept him from being able to say all the things he needed, to say. While being himself and opening up about losing Delia was great for his first podcast, there are some things he couldn't say. Once she got home, Lily got an update on Billy's podcast, and he dropped the bombshell on her. He wanted to develop a persona so that people wouldn't know who he was talking about when he talked about Victoria and Ashlyn or Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters. He could speak truth to power. He wanted to be Billy Abbott by day and Dark Knight by night. Now he could say everything that Billy couldn't or shouldn't. Sounds like a spin on his two personalities gum-chewing thing. Billy finally decided on a voice changer, and he pondered absolute power and its propensity for corruption. Y&R, to adopt or not to adopt. Oh, and Mariah, Cameron Grimes, and Tessa, Kate Fairbanks, are indeed getting married, and they went and got a whole lot of stuff. Plus, both brides-to-be managed to grab some additional outfits for their significant other behind their backs, which led to a fun fashion show, which showed off how well they knew each other. It was a 70s glam fashion show for the ages, and a bright spot of fun amid all the heaviness in Genoa City lately. Mariah and Tessa just knew their wedding would be the most amazing day of all time forever. They're excited to share their love with their loved ones. Oh yes, these two are still adopting, but it hasn't been their focus lately. The couple checked in with each other, and they decided to delay the adoption proceedings while they planned their wedding. These two are about to embark on the best year of their lives. The Young and the Restless, airs weekdays on CBS. Check your local listings for airtimes. For more about what's coming up in Genoa City, check out all the latest that's been posted on Y&R Spoilers, and for an in-depth look at the show's history, click here. Take our poll ad block test. Why?